Wars can be good if the alternative is worse wars. In the Second World War, had the British not started the Second World War in September 1939, they would have allowed Hitler to dominate Europe and Stalin to dominate other parts of the world, or many things that could have been a calamity for civilized life in general would have happened had Britain not gone to war. Had the Americans not gone to war, not only against Japan, but also against Germany, after Pearl Harbor, it would have been a calamity. Had the Allies stopped the war in 1943 before they decimated, destroyed Germany and brought it to unconditional surrender, it would have been bad. So the initial intuitive approach that says, let's stop a war, people are killed, if we stop the war, people will not be killed, is a very short-sighted perspective. When you combat barbarians, when you combat something that is evil that could take over, you need to ask yourself, do I have to start a war? Do I have to continue the war? Do I have to expand the war? In the interests of peace, in the interest of reaching something where the radicals cannot destroy the lives of civilized people, where barbarians cannot undermine civilization. This war, when you look at it retrospectively, changed something very fundamental in the Middle East that is very, 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 very positive. Because the radicals have been dealt a blow that resonates throughout the region and will stay with us for a long time if we maintain the consequences of the war. We'll speak about it later. And it started only with Hamas. It could have been much, much worse if Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas would have started a war together, two fronts in Israel, perhaps a third front from the West Bank, and in addition, thousands of missiles from Iran. At least initially, it would have been much more difficult for Israel. But something more important than evading an all-out war in the early stages happened in this war. Israel demonstrated that if you are determined enough and strong enough, you can break the radicals. And the radicals you don't want to negotiate with. You want to break them. You want to bring them to a point where even if you later enter into negotiations, you enter into negotiations where they're so weak that they have essentially to capitulate. Not forever. These guys get up in the morning in order to kill Jews, and we will have more wars and more confrontations. We've had it for 100 years. I doubt if in the next 100 years there will be tranquility in the Middle East. But there is a major distinction. If all the Arab world, or the overwhelming majority of the Arab world, is fighting Israel, as they did until 1979, or do you have the radical remnants of the Arabs, Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, the militias in Iraq and in Syria, only the remnants of the radicals in the Arab world fight Israel. Now, it's very bad and very dangerous that they have the Iranian support. But imagine you would have had the Iranians and the overwhelming majority of the Arab world fighting Israel together. It would have been a calamity, not only for Israel, but also for the rest of the Arab world, because Israel would have responded in a way that would have been much harsher than it could respond now, carefully in relative terms. But what happened in October 7th was Israel waking up from the delusion that you can help radicals improve their life, and then they will abandon their ideas and their practical search for killing Jews. I mean, not just ideologically hoping for it, but practically going to war to slaughter Jews, which is the only thing they get up in the morning for. And it's not just Hamas. It is the society of the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. And if Israel were not in control in the West Bank, they would have controlled the West Bank as well. So when it comes to radicals, such as Hamas and its supporters in the Palestinian society, and Hezbollah, and Syria, and the Houthis, they openly say that this is what they are about. You know, the Houthis have a flag, and it says, "Death to America, death to Israel, humiliation for the Jews, and God is great." This is what they are about. Okay? This is not something that they do now because they have been attacked or they have been wronged or they're poor or any other dumb excuse. This is because this is what they are about. And under these circumstances, don't try to help them, break them. Don't wait until they start a war against you. Start a war against them. And we made the mistake of letting them build factories that produce missiles. And we allowed them to build an underground city in Gaza on a scale that we've never known. We allowed them to train and recruit people for war with Israel. And we even acquiesced when they shot rockets into Israeli cities, and we responded in a very measured way, in a very proportional way, instead of destroying their infrastructure on a massive scale, as we had to do after October 7th. So, first, the war in Gaza. We decimated Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood structure that supports it, and we ruined the city and the Gaza Strip. The reason we had to ruin it was that practically every house was booby-trapped and every hospital was a headquarters of terrorism and every school was a military position and every nursery was a deposit of weapons. But the fact that we destroyed it is not only absolutely necessary for military reasons so that they don't kill us on a massive scale when we respond to their aggression, it is also something that sends a message that reverberates throughout the Arab world. If you're a radical and you think you can get away with raping Jewish women and burning Jewish children and kidnapping old people and being the barbarian that you are, showing that you are a barbarian. You did not take out a barbarian act. You are a barbarian. Okay? And if barbarism succeeds, then the barbarians will take over Egypt. Because the strongest political force in Egypt are the Muslim Brothers, the same barbarians that you have in Gaza. And actually, they won the elections. And only a military coup removed them. And thank God for the military coup, because what you have in Egypt was the choice between the Muslim Brotherhood and a regional war and a military coup without a regional war. Again, counterintuitive. Would we have liked to see Egyptian democracy? Yes. Is there anything like it on a major scale? Unfortunately not. I wish they were. But they're not. So, if the Muslim Brothers can say, we can rape and kidnap and burn the Jews and get away with it, then they take over Egypt. Then they take over Jordan. They're very, very strong in Jordan, the Muslim Brotherhood, to a very large extent thanks to the Palestinians that carry the same inferior political culture. Inferior in the sense that if what you're saying to your children, you're only role model is a terrorist. If this is what you say, the only person who will have a school named after him is somebody who killed Jews, and no matter what Jews, but the more the better, then there is something wrong with your political culture. You may have a great culture in other fields, but your political culture is wrong.